Hi, AT from CNC at Home. I recently went through recertification to be a Metro SkyWarn spotter, and during the training, I thought it would be good to create a coaster for this. I went online and grabbed a few images and narrowed it down to a few that I thought would work well, and that's what we see here. We just have the Metro SkyWarn logo and the two frequencies for the reporting stations. Found a different logo that I threw on here. Also have the frequencies down here. And just the big old SkyWarn logo. And I want to make coasters out of these. I'm going to use the new cold galvanizing compound method. So we'll see how that works. I will burn all three of these, not at the same time. I'll just do one at a time. And see how they turn out. So let's go over to the laser and see what this looks like. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Here we have a tile loaded in the laser, and we need to check to make sure that the laser and the tile are square. As I just move the laser back and forth, I can see the tile's not quite square, so I'll just pull the laser back a little bit. The next step is to do a frame. Lightburn has come out with a new feature that if you have the fire button turned on within the interface, when you do a frame, by default the laser's on now, so you don't have to do the shift frame option. And we'll get the burn started. This particular tile is painted with the cold galvanizing compound, so it's gray now instead of white. And the same process is applied where we burn the paint, and that converts stuff into the black that adheres to the tile. Here's the can of cold galvanizing compound. It's also referred to as zinc-rich compound or zinc-rich coating. Here's how the tiles turned out. This is using the cold galvanizing compound, as are these two. This was using the standard white painted tile and burning the paint, and where the paint is burned, it leaves the black residue behind. The same with the cold galvanizing compound, where it burns through the galvanizing compound, it leaves the black behind. And we can see that the black is much more consistent with this CGC. This one, I used the wrong burn parameters. It was set to burn at the slower speed that I do with the white tile, and that ended up burning the letters okay. The image, though, was a different setting, and it was burning slower. When this is in the light just correctly, the gray of the letters here is almost a silver color. So it getting burned a little bit more created a different kind of color for that, which was an interesting effect. So all in all, I like how this cold galvanizing compound looks when it's done. It doesn't seem to be quite as durable and sturdy as what we get from the white paint, which is really indestructible. This stuff you can kind of scrape and work at, and it'll scratch up. It stays on, but you can see the marks when you do that. It turned out pretty well. While I was doing the testing, I did a couple more coasters. This is for the car clinic, and it's the QR code for their Wi-Fi. And so when people come in, if they've got their phone, they can just scan the QR code and they can get set up on the Wi-Fi real quickly. This was done with the cold galvanizing compound. This was done with the white paint. And as you can see over here, it's nice and black, just like this one. But up in this upper corner is very light. It will scan still, but it's very light compared to even over here. Versus the contrast here and here is negligible. What ends up happening is when you're painting white on a white tile, it's very difficult to see how well you're getting coverage over the entire tile, and I'm suspecting what happened is this area of the tile didn't get coated quite as well as this area over here. when you're coating with the cold galvanizing compound, the tile turns a gray color, and you can really see that you've got good coverage. Let me go grab one so you can see that. With a white painted tile, it looks like this, and you really can't tell how good of coverage you got on the tile. With the galvanizing compound, it's a gray color, and you can really see how you've gotten good coverage on here. So that's kind of a difference. It helps in the painting, as well as it just burns real nicely, and you get the nice rich blacks on here versus the potentially changing contrast. Another thing that I found using this method is the cold galvanizing compound does not adhere to the tile nearly as well as the white paint does. So even just a slight scratch with your finger will go right through the stuff and take it off. So you have to be much more careful with this before you do your burning to make sure that it doesn't get all damaged. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.